It's good to be back in the lovely open world of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Since my last video did so well, I thought it would be a good idea to go and find 10 more secrets that can be found in this game. Whether or not it actually turns out to be a good idea, I don't know, maybe we'll see. If you're new to my content, I know I may have the emotional range of an IKEA sofa, but I do sincerely love video game secrets, just exploring games and finding the things that are off the beaten path, the things that people miss, whether those be little lore details or Easter eggs referencing different things altogether. And since I had so much fun making my last Witcher Secrets video, and it did so well, it definitely won't hurt me to do a part 2. So please enjoy 10 The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Secrets Many Players Missed Part 2. Please forgive the sloppy title, I know. And of course, be sure to give this video a like if you enjoy it, or this man will be at the end of your bed tonight. But with everything that needs to be said dealt with, let's begin. For secret number 1, at the very beginning of the game, we see a cinematic in which Yennefer of Vengerberg is saved from this guy by a bird that flies through his head. At the end of this cinematic, the bird seems to burn up in some magical fashion and transform into a crystal skull. The camera stops following Yennefer and zooms in on the crystal skull itself before transitioning into what seems to be a more in-engine cutscene. The game quickly makes you forget about it with Geralt and Vesemir asleep before playing through Geralt's dream. And then when you awaken, you've got some dialogue with Vesemir followed by some ghouls to scrap. But after this fight, you get a minute before you need to move on, and you can choose to pick up the crystal skull or leave it.
Bird skull in black crystal. Why do I think this is Yen's?
It's relatively well known, but yet it's still a pretty small detail that many players will miss. Once you move on from the very beginning of the game, you cannot go back to pick it up because it will despawn. If you want this item for whatever reason, then you'll need to pick it up on either a fresh or New Game Plus playthrough. Acquiring the crystallized skull will allow you to return it to Yennefer later on in the game.
Found something that might belong to you. That skull some sort of accessory? If so, you've changed your style a bit.
It's a weapon.
Don't remember ever seeing you with that.
It's as you said. I've changed my style.
For secret number 2, in the inn in White Orchard, we can encounter a bloke named Aldert Geert, a scholar from Oxenfurt, who's headed to the front lines to chronicle it. For the time being, however, he's out here trying to teach some country bumpkins how to play Gwent.
Aldert Geert, Assistant Professor in Contemporary History at Oxenfurt Academy.
Geralt of Rivia, Witcher with tenure. Not a place I'd ever expect to find a scholar. Take it you're fleeing the war?
Quite the opposite. Chasing it. I'm headed for the front.
Tired of life?
I seek knowledge, which I value more than life itself. I've a thirst no dusty old tomes can quench. I wish to see the Nilfgaardian invasion with my own eyes, understand it, and record it all in my chronicle, my magnum opus.
Take my advice. Go back to your books while you can. War's no game. No faculty meetings to attend, no tenure to gain, end notes to compile. First soldier you see will kill you.
Why would he do that? Me? A neutral civilian? A scholar?
Boots.
Come again?
He'll kill you for your boots.
Regardless of which dialogue option you opt for here, either to encourage or dissuade, Aldert Geert will head on from here to the front line, and when we arrive in Velen at the Hanged Man's Tree, we can find a couple of corpses really with missing boots that seem identical, but if you use your Witcher senses beneath one of them, you can find something to loot. You'll find a Gwent card and an unfinished book. It reads as follows: "It is widely known that history is life's teacher. Her students, however, have heretofore preferred to partake of her lectures from afar, namely amidst the quiet stacks of university libraries. They knew her teaching solely from the accounts of third parties, accounts inevitably coloured by the individual prejudices and imperfect memories. I, by contrast, have decided the time has come to break with this convenient yet harmful practice and begin to draw knowledge from the source, writing history where it is made, on the front lines of conflict. Many will say this way madness lies, and that my venture will indubitably end in my untimely death. To them, I say with pride, Audentes fortuna iuvat, or in the writing ends abruptly. It appears as if, whilst writing his magnum opus, Aldert Geert was caught and hanged from the hanged man's tree. His boots have been taken, as Geralt said they would be. The faction that ended his life is unknown, however there are the remains of a recent fire nearby. And right about now, I'd assume Mr. Geert is not feeling ever so clever. Secret number 3 brings us to this part of the southeast of the Velen region, where we can notice something particularly hefty going on the map. It appears to be a big settlement of some type, but aside from there being a notice board down this way, the game doesn't give you very much reason to venture that far. Upon approaching, this area appears to be heavily occupied by Nilfgaardians. For context, the Nilfgaardians are on a bit of a conquest, they're invading literally everybody, so it doesn't take long to realise this massive structure that appears on the map is actually a Nilfgaardian War Camp. Whilst you can't go inside, using a free cam mod, I took a peek over the wall. This is an out of bounds area, so there's not actually all that much going on back here. But there are so many tents, and the map leads you to believe that it goes for quite a while, so if you like the oppressive ambient music and the distant shouting of countless soldiers, this is a place to check out. There are even some quests here, which is really strange because in none of my playthroughs have I ever found a reason to go here or even look that far to the southeast. But now that I know this is here, it seems increasingly hard to miss. But it's a cool, unique location. For our 4th secret, we're headed to a small house located slightly east of Honeyfill Meadworks, located east of Novigrad. It's here where we learn that some beast appears to be stealing an old woman's chickens one by one. Wolf-like, however, they appear to be standing on their hind legs. Being a witcher, Geralt of Rivia is naturally hired to investigate these chicken thefts. Following the wolf prints, they slowly become human, and finally, Geralt happens upon the perpetrators. Children. Clever children.
Watch out, Petey! He's got a sword! A soldier!
He won't take us alive!
Not gonna hurt you.
Then why are you here? That captain with the black moustache send you?
Followed the tracks of the hen-stealing monsters here.
You're a little fuss over a few skinny hens. The old lady didn't like 'em much anyway. She were always yelling at 'em. And she looks like a witch.
Why are you in the woods? Where are your parents?
Soldiers caught him.
We was crossing the river, but they spotted us. We ran, but Mum and Dad had bags, told us to flee.
Lived in the woods alone ever since?
Sure. Find a lot of things, steal a few others. We get by just fine.
Where'd the wolf prints come from?
Dad once hunted down a wolf. Gave each of us a paw for good luck. We tied him to our shoes.
'Cause wolves steal hens, right?
Sure. Usually not one at a time, though. You survive by stealing from others. This can't end well. You should ask someone for help.
Who'd help us? Who'd take us? Once we've got all the hens, we'll go deep in the woods.
Petey says we's gonna hunt. Where animal hides. So a tent out of leaves.
And never grow up.
Last bit's most likely. Good luck, I guess. And watch out for yourselves.
The leader of this clever little group of children appears to be called Petey. He first asks if a soldier with a black mustache sent us, and the kids reveal their plan that once they have stolen enough hens, they're going to go deep into the woods and never grow up, to paraphrase what we've already listened to because you needed that. Basically, it's a reference to Peter Pan. However, in this Easter eggy version of the story, you can suggest that the old lady who hired you to figure out who's stealing her hens. Take the children in so they don't get themselves killed. Today's video's 5th secret brings us to Kaer Morhen. To the northwest of the fortress, famous for its school of witches, we can find a cave the main story never brings us to and always goes unmarked, at the end of a dirt trail.
A wolf head. I know this place. They held the first trials of the grasses here before they built the fortress.
Heading deeper inside reveals this cave is now overrun with monsters.
A place where monster slayers were created, now infested with monsters. Near dripping with irony, mutations were carried out here. Nice acoustics. Its screams must have carried far.
Upon clearing out the monster problem, we can explore the cave, and Geralt will provide commentary on various objects.
The lab, where they brewed the potions. Poisons, more like. Table for mutations. Like our sad Aldert, except even sadder. Some contraption. Broken. That smell. Mutagens. Makes me want to vomit despite the years. A vat for seeping the herbs. I remember those teas they gave us. Prepared the herbs here. Corn lily, nightshade, wolfsbane. Nature's finest.
Back by the gurney thing that we will refer to as the even sadder Aldert, we can pick up a document detailing how the children took to the Trial of the Grasses. Trial of the Grasses Registry Tome. Bartel of Hengfor, age 9, died after administering witchgrass, heart failure. Diederik of Gelibol, age 10, survived the trial, died shortly afterwards, multiple organ failure. Jarp of Bangleen, age 8, survived the trial but damage to the brain was too extensive, had to be euthanized. Alid of Rogavan, age 10, died after administering speargrass, cerebral hemorrhage. Conrad of Rimbe, age 9, survived, convalescing, may begin training next month. This gives you an idea of just how many children underwent Witcher mutations, and how few of those would survive, and how even fewer would survive unscathed. It tells us bits of what can go wrong, and how that can kill you, and also thanks to Geralt's commentary we know how excruciatingly painful it is. It also shows us how these Witcher candidates were seen by those who subjected them to the Trial of the Grasses, using words like euthanized, likening them more to animals or test subjects, even if not intended that way. So I suppose, whilst it doesn't present necessarily new lore, this cave highlights just how dark the process of creating new witches is. Secret number 6 brings us to the Skellige Isles. For it's here where if you are eagle-eyed you may notice hill art. For example, if you head to this spot south of Caer Troll, which is the first location you find yourself at during the main story here in Skellige, you may notice what appears to be a path that isn't marked, and that's because it's not a path, but in fact a horse marked on the hill. There are several locations at which you can see various geoglyphs, obviously nodding to the geoglyphs found in Britain and also possibly the Nazca lines in Peru. And these markings can very easily function as their own piece of in-lore world building too, so job's a good one. Whilst we're still in Skellige, for secret number 7, whilst checking out the notice boards located near some of the towns, you may happen upon a letter titled Sailing West that reads as follows: Hark ye, good men. Come, lammers, I'm setting out for the west with Grettir and Finnbjorn. The elders say there's nothing out there but sea, krakens and serpents, but I'm a man who has to see for himself to believe. If you are up for an adventure, we still have a few oars free. Leif. Obviously a nod to the Viking Leif Erikson, who was believed to sail west and settle Vinland in North America 500 years before they would be rediscovered by Christopher Columbus. Secret number 8 occurs during the quest Dead Man's Party, which is a part of the Hearts of Stone main storyline, in which Geralt's body is possessed by a dead man, and the rest of the context isn't important. I'm going to show you the Easter egg now.
Tell me, are bears often boar-shaped in your experience?
Got weak eyes, see? Besides, I'm a fire eater, not some damn naturalist.
Indeed you are not, Master. Believe I failed to ask. What do they call you?
David Attenborough.
Listen here, Master Attenborough. Stay close, and no harm will come to you.
This is clearly a nod to famous English broadcaster and biologist David Attenborough. Secret number 9 is a cautionary tale to not attempt to romance both Yennefer and Triss on the same playthrough. You can commit adultery against either, about 10 times each if you fancy, but don't try to romance both these main love interests at the same time, or you may find yourself blessed with this cutscene.
You two are acting strange.
Us? No.
Yen and I, well, we talked and concluded
That we've wasted much too much time fighting over you.
Meanwhile, we'll probably soon face the Wild Hunt. Most likely battle Eredin himself, and who knows what could happen.
So, we decided we must try to make the most of the time we have left. Together.
This'll be interesting.
It doesn't go the way you think. Yennefer and Triss are just taking their revenge.
What about me? Don't I get any?
You just got exactly what you deserve.
Hey, this isn't funny. Come back. Triss, Yen.
Ah, well, well. Ladies did quite a number on you.
You know about this?
No, they didn't tell me till this morning. A shame, really, because it looks like you had a roaring good time.
Dandelion.
All right. Sorry. Don't often see you like this. Couldn't resist. So, how do you feel? A bit numb, I bet.
Got what I deserved. Should have known it was too good to be true.
You certainly should have. Oh, Geralt. How little you know about women. Did you really think you could have them both? You have a great deal to learn. Glad to give you some advice if you want.
Think I'll pass.
And finally, during the main quest, The Great Escape, which takes you down a well in Oxenfurt, you can find several Tomb Raider references.
Tomb Raider. Seems this one liked elven stuff. Not bad. Wouldn't mind having something like that myself.
And that brings us very nicely to the end of today's video. Thank you all for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed. Be sure to go ahead, leave a like, subscribe, share the channel with your friends and all that wonderful stuff, that'd be awesome. And be sure to go ahead and hit subscribe to my history channel Decades, if you like history that is. You can find it via a link in the description underneath the timestamps. Or if you're not interested, don't worry, there will be plenty of content here as well. But until next time, please take care, and goodbye.